Get your day started the right way with Good Day Tampa Bay.
All right, welcome back. About 15 minutes away from the top of the hour now. And do you really know what your child is doing online? The chances are no. The number of stories that we have told you about adults texting inappropriately with teens just continues to increase. So what do parents need to know? We've got attorney Dale Appel here to set us straight on some of Florida's laws. And good morning to you, Dale.
Good morning, Laura.
It's a scary time to be a parent. So let's start with the laws and protecting children.
Yes. So we're talking about sexting, and that is the transmission of nude photos or video over communication like telephones or computers. And the legislature in Florida caught up with what's going on and has enacted laws that seem somewhat reasonable, but you have to be very, very careful as a teen, as a minor, and as a parent understanding what these laws are. So there's a number of things that, well, let's start with what the law is. Okay. First, the law says that if you are somebody that transmits something like that kind of explicit sexual material, that the first time they're going to kind of slap you on the wrist. There's a small fine. They may have to have community service. But if you do a second time, now it becomes a first-degree misdemeanor. So it's much more serious. And then if you do it a third time, now it's really serious. Now it's considered to be a third-degree felony, which can include time in prison, which can include significant fines. So you really have to be careful about doing these kinds of things. And it's not just the people that send it. If you are a recipient of these things and you receive a nude photo of a classmate, or you receive one of yourself and sent back to you, you have to do something about it. You just can't sit back and say, well, I didn't send it, it's not my fault. You actually have to delete it, make sure you don't ask for it, solicit it. You can't forward it to anybody, and you have to, and this is part of the law, tell somebody like a parent or a school administrator or somebody that this occurred. So you have an affirmative duty to actually do something in order to not fall under the new sexting laws in Florida.
And a lot of these kids are getting duped by adults, confirmed known sexual predators who operate like this, you know, and who can dupe our children.
Well, those are clear situations where the law comes in and says that's child pornography and that's abusive, and we're going to really throw the book at you, and potentially you can get into prison up to 30 years for that kind of activity. But there's another issue, too, that a lot of people don't consider, and you really need to have a discussion with your teenagers about it. What if two 17-year-olds are dating, and they're used to sending these kinds of materials between each other, but then the 17-year-old turns 18? Now, all of a sudden, if he sends the exact same thing that was that at 17, where you had the laws I just mentioned, now at 18, he's involved in child pornography, which has incredibly, you have to register for the rest of his life as a sexual offender. He may have to spend time in prison. So, I mean, that's just the difference between one day, 17 versus 18, or if you're a 20-year-old and you're going out with a 17-year-old. You can have a relationship in that situation that's legal in Florida, but you can't send sexually explicit material to that 17-year-old. Or again, you face child pornography laws. So a lot of landmines and dangers that parents and teenagers and young adults need to be aware of.
You got to know what you're getting into, and it's best just not to put that stuff out there anyway. It'll always come back to haunt you.
That's always the best thing.
That's so true.
Absolutely.
Right. It's hard to know what parents are doing though, right? All right, let's get over to Walter Allen, who's in this morning for Charlie. Thank you, Dale, by the way. Always good to see you.